I don't know how long this video is going to be, but we'll try. First of all, we're rearranging shits. Yeah, if only you could see. Thank God you can't see the hot mess that goes, around this whole place. Yes, I'm looking at myself from that point of view. I think this is going to make into my bloopers. Ah! 1 second. 1 second. Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. This is Lini Chef, and in today's video I will share a very personal story of how my manifestation attempt failed. This is going to be a cautionary tale for all of my manifestation people, specifically girlies who are trying to manifest their specific special person. Let's go. So this happened exactly 2 years ago in the middle of April, and the story is really funny. I am one of those girls who kind of believe in esoteric, maybe astrology. I was like really firm astrology believer as a teenager, but as I grew older, I realized that, it works to a certain extent up until it doesn't, but there are certain things and events that happened in my life for the last few years that actually made me look into manifestation more and made me believe that it actually is real, but more from the neuroscience perspective, not the woo-woo magic kind of perspective, even though that may make sense to someone else. All power to you guys. It was around middle of April, 2 weeks before my takeoff to New York, and basically a month and a half before me moving back to Russia, completely depressed and whatever, but that's a different story. I decided for shits and giggles do this Synastry chart reading with a specific celebrity that looks nothing like the man of my dreams. It looks nothing like my typical type, because I like different type. And I'm not mentioning any specific details and names here for privacy reasons, but you'll get the point. And I remember during this reading, by the way, hi Nico, if you ever come across this video, the astrologer, she was dissecting our charts, she was doing the synastry, like the pros, the cons, whatever, everything was flowing. And I remember during this reading, I mentioned, and I said one phrase, which I'm gonna water it down a bit. I basically said he's not quite my type in terms of complexion, but I know that I like this type, but screw that type. I F that type, like I don't really care, because first of all, I was lonely, I was desperate, and I was horny, and I didn't care. And I just wanted to feel better about myself, and I honestly had nothing to lose. Our reading and our Zoom call ended, like we had fun, like I even cried, I laughed, like we both shared some personal stories afterwards. And I decided to digest all this information that I got from her and from this reading, just to process things. And I decided to take a walk to the nearest shopping mall that I used to live by. It's like maybe 20 minutes by scooter. It's a really nice big mall. And I was just mindlessly walking around, just like kind of cool down. And I decided to hit that newly opened coffee shop that I saw in passing many times, and it was there just recently. So I go in, it's brand new, it's not Starbucks. Actually, I think Starbucks was on the second floor, so this one was on the first floor. So I go in, and the cashier stands, like a really tall guy, broad shoulders, whatever. I didn't really pay much attention to his looks first because I was very busy choosing the options and figuring out the price and everything. And he took my order, and of course we were conversing in English. I didn't really hear the accent. I thought he was an American, and okay, spoiler alert, he's a white guy, okay? White. That's it. Well, that's all I can share. And I got my order, I paid, it was like almost $10. I was like, man, that's very expensive for the coffee. And I decided to hang out and sat at the counter, and I don't know like how, but the conversation with this barista flew naturally because he made me that coffee. And I looked into his face, I was like, man, that's actually a handsome man. And I liked his hair, I liked his figure, like he's tall. And when he mentioned his height, I was like, this is exactly the height that I like and I want in my dream man. I like them tall, and I like them broad shoulders, I like them bigger, I'm a short girly, and I want to feel small and petite and protected. Natural female instinct.
Sorry, short kings.
And I ended up asking for his name, and I just felt like this spark, we both felt it. And the conversation ended up flowing so effortlessly that I was just, like when the sparks are flying, you can't really stop yourself. And when I found out, like, where are you from? And I kind of heard the accent, but I couldn't place it because to me it was like pretty American, whatever. And he said he's from Russia. I'm from Russia too. I was like, wait a second. What city? And he mentioned the city, and I was like, oh my God, I've never been to that city in Russia, blah, blah, blah. I want to visit. And he turned out to be a creative person, and he turned out to be a refugee. He had to escape Russia because he did not want to participate in the war, and he received the notice that you have to go and enlist, and he didn't want to. And oh my God, I said, I feel bad, and it sucks that this shit is happening right now. I also don't support it, whatever. And eventually, because I really felt it, we both felt the attraction heating up. I asked if I can hang out with him, like if he is available, and that's when he faltered and he said, well, I am not quite single, I have a girlfriend. And I was like, fuck, okay. But I was hopeful. Lini was very hopeful. And I was like, okay, but can we at least meet just to discuss a certain topic that I was really interested in? And he knew that topic in depth. Something about creative stuff, whatever, some job opportunities in Russia, because I was moving back and I decided to check the options, what I can do when I'm back to Russia so that I can figure things out faster. Spoiler alert, it didn't happen, whatever. And okay, we decided to hang out the next evening after in Starbucks, actually near where I used to live. Yeah, the conversation flew. We ended up taking a walk. We ended up holding hands. I definitely could tell he liked me a lot. And we ended up even kissing and making out. I know it's wrong, but hey, I am single, very single. It was his wrongdoing, okay, because he had a girlfriend. And that's when he actually started complaining about that, yeah, like the life is rough. He had to work 3 jobs. He was kind of on a student status and going to take the courses because he has family members there, but in order for him to get his green card through family reunion, it's going to take 8 fucking years. And I didn't know that it's going to be so long, that it's one of the longest green card application processes. And he couldn't move back to Russia because he lost everything. He had to give up everything in order not to be enlisted and forced to fight Ukraine from Russian side because he did not support it. And that's how a lot of younger men of my generation and around that and older, they fled the country. Ukrainians, Russians, Belarus, you name it. And he also was complaining that, yeah, like he has to work 3 jobs, like the life is rough right now, the finances are tight, and his girlfriend is the main supporter of their couple because they have to pay the bills, they have to pay the rent, and everything is freaking expensive because it's post-COVID recession Florida. And he also mentioned something that was red flag. I mean, basically his whole behavior was pretty red flaggy for me, as later on I was analyzing it once I was back home, that, oh my God, we even haven't had intimacy with my girlfriend for a few months starting February. And that was April, mind you, 2 months only. When I did the math, I was like, bro, like it's only been 2 months. It's not that much, but well, sorry, blah, blah. I'm just so exhausted. Like I have to work every day. I had no days off, blah, 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 blah. But I really like you. And he knew that it's messed up, but we kept meeting. I kept coming back to his coffee shop, and he ended up giving me some free coffees, on the house, whatever. Because a girl likes to take advantage, yes. If I see someone and I can take some shit out of him, I will take that shit out of him, yeah. In a good way, maybe in a bad way, whatever. Don't judge me. And honestly, we almost got intimate. We were one step away, but because of some technical issues, I'm not going to mention every detail here, nothing really happened. But things did happen. And when I tried to basically maybe see if there is another chance for him meeting me, he wrote me a long-ass text that, listen, this feels like a piece of puzzle that doesn't fit the picture. I'm so sorry. Like, if I was single, definitely, like, things would have, like, escalated further. But because everything is so messed up right now, my whole life, my relationship, at least he kind of showed the decency, and we didn't really had, like, intimacy, but things happen, like I said, some certain almost intimate things happen. And okay, I said, fine, whatever. I kind of felt sad and frustrated, but at the same time, I'm honestly glad that nothing too serious happened. But in my opinion, because he's a man, the way he perceived it is like, because he didn't actually have with another woman on the side, he didn't cheat on his girlfriend. But in my hands, in my eyes, and I'm sure in the eyes of his girlfriend, if she ever finds out, I'm not sure if she will, unless I DM her, and I don't think I'm gonna do it because it's wrong. In the eyes of a woman, cheating actually happened, at least by energy and by situations that created. So the whole point of this manifestation is, for me, the way he looked like is exactly my type, and I finally had a confirmation in my real life. And the shocker is that he is Russian, because to me, Russian men, for the most part, they're not super attractive. They're attractive till a certain age, but then things go bad as soon as they turn 30, and that's true. But in terms of the character and the morals, what really irked me is that the moment his relationship with his girlfriend hit the rough patch, he was ready to cheat on her with a random side chick somewhere, like in the car, in the mall, whatever, just because things got rough. And to me, it was an eye-opening experience, because yes, I really felt the attraction, because like I said, I was lonely and I was very horny, even hornier than lonely. I really don't want a man with this kind of character, with this kind of personality, because I want my man to be faithful to me. And to every single girl that manifests their specific person, be really specific. And I learned my lesson to be more specific, and honestly, I ended up not trusting men at all after this, because I had my instances and experiences with men before him that definitely betrayed my trust in men, but this one was a cherry on top. Yes, I'm hopeful that men with these kind of looks that I expect and manifest exist, because they actually do. There is a proof in my life that happened to me. But the behavior of this guy, and basically him thinking that because he texted me and we didn't do the doing exactly, that he didn't cheat. To me, he cheated, because like I said, the almost doing happened and he didn't mind it at all. He could have stopped, but he didn't. And if he would turn me around completely, I would have understood. Yes, I would be frustrated, but I would have more respect for him. But in this case, I did like him. I like the fact that he's creative, just like myself, in a different kind, but anyways, and we had the conversation flowing. Like, he let certain things slide just because he was stressed, and him and his girlfriend had this really rough patch. I'm sure he loves her maybe, but I wouldn't trust a guy like this anymore. And also, another red flag is that he shared that they were together for 2 years, that her name is such and such. Here's her Instagram account, and of course I looked it up because I lurked. And I looked up her picture and I was like, she's very cute, she's very pretty, obviously. And you could sense a naivety in her face that she never faced the situation. And she honestly does look like a woman that would have never even think about cheating on her boyfriend when they're hitting the rough patch. That was the situation. The manifestation thing failed. It was totally unexpected. And I feel like the universe, the God, decided to basically troll me by showing that, okay, the complexion of the guy request exists, but the personality doesn't really match it, so do whatever you want with this information. And to conclude, like I said before, ladies, be very specific about your manifestation, and sometimes you really need to be careful for what you wish for, because like I said, you have to be specific. Thank you so much for watching this video. It was a little bit of a hot mess because it's something really personal, and I usually am not really eager to share something so personal. And I hope this was helpful. I learned a lesson. Yeah, be very specific. Manifestation does work, but like I said, be careful what you wish for. And oh my God, thank you so much, guys. I need a break from this. Bye. Oh my God. Это просто капец, конечно. Вот так вот и верь мужикам после этого, вот серьезно. Это просто жесть.
Окей, сейчас. О, все, отлично, супер. Так. I am not quite a believer in the esoteric magic, even though I'm trying to, because, you know, the girl is getting out of the shitty situation, depression, anxiety, whatever. Welcome to the 2026 in your 30s. Anyhow, Blit. Ладно, stop. So, I am not a huge believer in manifestation, even though, yes, I am becoming one, because there are certain things that happen in my life that prove that manifestation actually works, but not in a magical way, more so in a neurological, neuroscience way. And this case is one of them, which is interesting. And, yeah. But, yeah. I decided to hit that newly that specifically physically he's not quite my type during like